What's happening, everyone? We're live.
Forever.
Look at this guy. So, if you haven't noticed, we have a new panel member as our special guest star, and it is the Atari Creep, Atari expert, builder, plastic maker, printer, everything.
Fun time haver.
Extraordinaire. And we have the retro advisory board, and he's smarter than us, so we just listen to him.
Yes,
I'll take it.
There you go. Blitzkrieg, what's happening? So I got so much to show on today's show.
Even Joey.
I did have an Amico controller thing. That's going to be a separate video, so there's nothing Amico happening. So we're really going to talk the topics. But please be nice to everyone, and thanks for joining in chat and being part of this. What's going on, 1010? Good to see you. But I received something. I think it's from Nick. What's up, Amico? Bro? So I think Nick and his wife sent me something. And I think we might know what this is because this has been highly anticipated. So I wanted to open this up real quick.
Sorry, what was that? Did Michael just say the Intellivision connection on the Evercade is as mediocre as expected? Yeah, it's Intellivision never translates very well to any of these other systems. It did well to the DS.
Dude,
that was like the one exception.
It's a crystal flamingo glass.
Integration.
When they said like it was a martini glass, like I was like, oh man, that's gonna be like a martini glass as a picture of a flamingo. The glass is a flamingo. That is the silliest.
That's rad.
That is your moose mug for eggnog every year.
You're right. It has there's like a.
Hey, NES girl.
There's like a little point. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. There it is. I'm trying to get the little piece of styrofoam because I can pour my drink in this right now. We'll sterilize everything out of this. What did it probably came from China, right? No.
China.
So I'm actually have it's a Death by Chocolate milkshake stout. John, what's happening? John Alvarado in chat.
Hey, John. What's up, brother?
Stash.
This is too funny, guys. Look at this. What do you do you just keep pouring and it fills up the head?
Oh my god.
If I do that?
No. You've got air in there. It's trapped.
Little awkward to drink, but I tell you what, you put your pinky out and I feel fancy. I feel very fancy. Anyways.
Pinky's out, sir.
Pinky's out. So we got some cool topics today. We're going to talk about the prediction of predicting gaming in the future. Like for example, back in the day when we saw everything becoming on a CD-ROM and everything started being full motion video, we were like, this is the future. Well, obviously that was wrong. That wasn't the future. If anything, I almost think it went all back to sprites, in my opinion. But that's going to be a big thing we're going to talk about tonight. But I did want to share in a great reason for having the Atari Creep on, because I've been so into boxed Atari games. I've almost got my 125 and minus my $1 million ones, which I don't have, but I want to start doing instead of Intellivision, I want to do some more Atari and stuff that I used to play at my cousins, and I have a whole thing of cartridges, which usually isn't on the screen, but I have a ton of them. But I'm like, I'd rather have my favorites. Like Enduro was one of my favorite racing games. Spider-Man, loved that one. Frogger, I love the original 2600 Frogger. I know it's not the best version, but I love it. The sound, the music, it was. I like it better than the Intellivision version, and I'm a super Intellivision fan. But I'm sorry that the Atari Frogger is where it's at.
Yeah,
and,
that was my favorite version as well.
Missile Command, Combat. Like I said, right now I got Combat, Video Olympics, Asteroids, Missile Command. I picked that one up. Circus Atari, Combat, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I got all of those were the ones I really was into back in the day. And I happened to pick up, and I did a video on it, the M Network stuff, which is basically Mattel Electronics and television games. For the most part, not all of them, but most of them were the ports over to Atari. And I got Frogs and Flies, Armor Ambush, Air Raiders, and Space Attack. But I'll get into. I might as well show these. So I got Super Challenge Football in box, Super Challenge Baseball today, and I went to a place called Retro. It's a weird Retro Taku Retro Taco Retro Taku video games.
It's a combination of retro and otaku.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was tacos, and I went in and there was games. So it was I love both things. What's up, Kurt? And so check this out: Mint inbox, lock and chase.
I
And
played the heck out of that game. I love that port.
And then the last one I got. This is the Astro Smash port, which is Astro Blast, and this actually plays really good. It's like a different game, so it's almost like you're playing a different game, to be honest.
Make sure you play that with paddles and not the controller.
And I will, because now I have a physical copy. I'll be able to hook it up to my actual 2600. But $6.95 for like a mint in box. It even comes with like
I love Atari, man.
Yeah,
I love it. And then, of course, well, that's just a classic right there, Missile Command.
Yes, sir.
Michael Hayes says Frogger's even better on the Supercharger.
Oh, yeah.
Atari and Intellivision, you've got a good 35, 40, maybe 50 games on the Atari that might be like 75 and up, but everything else is affordable, and it's good games for like, 5, 6, 15 bucks.
Gems.
Oh, I did see Caverns of Mars. Is that the Genesis one, or do they have it for Atari too?
I haven't.
I know they. I think it.
I know
I
they
don't know
just
if it's-
released, or they're releasing a recharge version of it.
I saw like there was some sort of Mars. It was either Life on
the
Mars or
chat.
Caverns of Mars, but it was a Sega Genesis game that's been in the works, a homebrew. I've been looking at the Sega Genesis homebrew library tour. I'm like, oh my god! And of course, I got Circus Convoy. Chris? Did you get that one? The Circus Convoy.
I did not.
It's made by Gary Kitchen and
David Crane.
David Crane.
David Crane.
Which, they wanted to, Activision ain't doing nothing with a pitball license. It's like, why not?
Yeah,
And they made that, and I think it was cool. And I seen it played so much that I kept my copy sealed. I'm like, I'm not even gonna bring it
right
up.
on.
Like, I've seen it played so far into. I'm like, that's good. I think I'm gonna hold it. So I still have that, and I haven't got the other one they got coming out.
Hey, Brian. Good video today.
Brian's, man, speaking of a guy that does homebrews for Intellivision, man. You like Intellivision homebrews. He has Jawbreaker, Keystone Cops, which is a Keystone Caper. Hey, Cameron, cool to join in the silly club.
Yeah,
I thought you were in it. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. That was very nice of you, man. But yeah, this was one I picked up. Now, mind you, the box is flat. I have to assemble kind of the box, but it's in not bad shape.
Yeah.
Thin Ice, which is the when you're skating around sinking the penguins. But these are pretty usually pricey games, and like I said, $25. I just gotta like kind of fix the box up a little bit. It's not terrible though.
Hey, awesome.
Hasselhoff in the house. What's happening?
That's
dude?
funny. I got my latest box of stuff for my 1/8 scale kit, Mr. Hasselhoff.
Nice.
This thing's a monster. I haven't even started building it yet. I keep getting these monthly subscription pieces, and it just keeps building up.
Now, what are you building now?
It's a 9 Industry 2000 kit, the car.
Oh, you're building kit. Oh,
it's like
man.
a magazine subscription where once a month they said you like a couple of parts in the magazine. Well, it's from Europe, so I get 4 a month.
Oh, dude, because I saw that. I wanted to get the Ectomobile version of that.
Yeah, that thing's huge too.
How long of a project is this? Like over how many how many issues do they
Is it
send
like
this
a
stuff
year?
out
Is it over a year?
I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends on the parts, right? I've seen the DeLorean one do the same
Do
thing.
I really?
But they're
I'm not
big.
in California. Do I really
Yes,
need to get with the catalytic converter?
Yeah. You're like it's like the valve number 1, valve number 2. Like I'm gonna be here for a bit.
Yeah, they had a half-scale endoskeleton from the Terminator that I wanted to do, but that didn't hit the States until long after, and then it was too expensive.
Heck, I do.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I saw Hasselhoff, and I wanted to bring that up.
No, but I'd love to have a full scale of the full exoskeleton, to have that standing up like do. Oh my god!
I just have the skull right now, but I have the files to print the entire thing.
Oh man, that's awesome. Even the skull would be pretty sweet.
That was a vinyl kit I bought though. That wasn't a 3D print.
What's up, Justy?
Hey, Justy.
Yeah.
It is.
It's good to see you, brother.
I am a creep.
So I gotta ask, and I know Rab loves Atari just as much. So like
I've heard of it.
Have you heard of the Atari? It's this new gaming system. Yeah. If you don't know, get the Atari 50th with our friend Mike Micah. He's does a great job with the Atari 50th collection, which I need to get in and play some more.
Yeah, I got to get back into it too.
I know I played like two levels into Haunted House, and then a couple of the retro arcades, and I kind of moved on because I have so much stuff I'm doing, and I'm like, I need to go back and literally get into the other reimagined games on there. Like shame on me for not doing that, because that's a great collection, and I was sent that game.
There's some prototypes and stuff on there that didn't come out as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff.
I have no idea what the hidden games are.
It really is.
I have tried to like shut my blinders on that. Like I'd asked for it for the holidays and I didn't get it, so now I'm looking at like maybe February or March as pickup. So I'm just gonna kind of keep in the dark as much as I can until I can pick that up. But definitely something looking forward to.
Yeah, CG, I don't know what the hair removal commercials, huh? Hey, you know what? I guess they're the ads that play. Hey, you know what? A strange laser hair removal. Hey, well, maybe I'll check it out. I'm got some hair that I could use removed. I'll just use a razor instead.
I'll click on that ad. I'm interested.
So, like, some newer games that I'm learning about was like, I think it was, Jeff was doing a Maze one the other day. I keep wanting to say Maze Craze, but it's not that.
No.
It was, what was he playing? I popped in for a second to see it, and I was very interested because I
saw that.
And then what was the one that was the unreleased? Was that Aqua Venture?
Well, Aqua Venture was unreleased. I think the Maze one was unreleased as well. I think that was a prototype. They put it on field.
Well, no, I found Maze Craze today in box.
Yeah, Maze Craze came out, but the Maze.
Oh, you're talking about the one that Jeff
Go
did.
Game Go was playing.
Go Game Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so chat, if you guys know what is your favorite Atari game, like Atari 2600? And I'm going to ask these guys too, but please pop in chat what you think, because I want to try to collect some good ones and some newer ones that I got that I never played as a kid were more like the Mega Mania. I thought was fantastic. Creeps and Crafts best gaming arts live stream.
It is. I like just hanging out with him while he's building stuff. That is fun.
It is cool, man. When I can catch him, I do, dude. But it's
like
it's
I just get the impulse to go to
I am going to do that
store.
a lot more often.
Yeah, when you're just like you're plucking away at a song with your guitar, or you're just working on some crafts. I'm like, this is a nice change up. Like it's you're talking games, you're talking life, you're talking all this other stuff, but we all have other interests other than games. So it's nice to kind of just hang out and see that aspect of somebody else for a while. So it's a nice change of pace. I like it.
Thank you for saying so, man. Appreciate that.
Yes, favorite 2600 River Raid. Yeah, River Raid's great on any. I want to say that's just hands down on everything. Good to see you, Indie Racing. Ray Levine says Pitfall. Dude, Pitfall is pretty. It's a legend. All the Activision games are great. There's so many that Dragonfire. So that's iMagic as well.
A Magic game, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one. It was called Cosmic Arc, and I almost picked it up, but I never played it. And
that's not bad.
It's the second time I've seen it, and I'm like, I never really played too many iMagic other than Demon Attack on Atari. Moon Patrol. Moon Patrol on Atari 600 is a great game, says 1010. I don't think I've ever played it on Atari on the 2600. I played it.
I think Atari gets a really bad rap about all of the shovelware that came out and the less than spectacular games. But I think there's more better games for the Atari than there are duds. Mm-hmm. If you really look at that library and you really look, some of that stuff is really repetitive, but there's just so many good little gems in there. That's like you can have fun for a few minutes.
Snoopy and the Red Baron. I was going to say, man, like I totally forgot playing that. Now I remember the arcade version was a vector. I'm thinking of Red Baron. Red Baron was a vector game, and then so Snoopy and the Red Baron. Because I have Barnstorming, which
was only on Atari.
even though Barnstorming's like the simplest type of game, it's like I just remember good memories playing it. Because as a kid, you're controlling a plane on a screen. It didn't matter if you were crashing or hitting seagulls out of the sky. It was the coolest. Simplicity of basketball in the 2600's game. That wasn't basketball by Atari. Wasn't that featured in Airplane on the monitor?
Yes.
And he's like, I'm checking the monitor, and it was Atari basketball.
When they're crashing.
Yeah.
2600 later 2600 games were ambitious, like Secret Quest.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
Space Shuttle.
Mario Brothers. What's up, Birdman? Good to see you. Mario Brothers on 2600. Yeah,
it was good.
Battle Zone. That's another in the arcade. That was another vector one. Oh, bag sticking to my.
Boxing is kind of silly.
Oh, the Activision with the over where it's literally just two arms. Yeah. I remember playing it. I go, this is, as a kid, I went, this is it? Like, this is the best they could do?
Right.
Like, I was expecting at least a pixel guy standing upright doing this. Honestly, I loved E.T. No, the only thing was the pit. You kept falling in the pits. But to be honest, I remember going and playing E.T. and going, I had a blast. I'm, once again, a kid. I'm controlling E.T. on a screen. How can I not love that?
Yeah.
Like I'm controlling 100%. E.T. on a TV screen. And so
when I couldn't figure it out, that's all I did. I played for hours like it was an open sandbox game.
Yeah. I mean, and if I got too frustrated, and I plugged something else in, and it was like stuck in the back of my mind, like, okay, I'm going to give this I'm going to go and give this another shot in 30 minutes, and a little
that's
better.
That's what's good about like everybody's like, you always hear, oh, look at these guys and their cringy old games and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it was just they were fun. They were bursts of fun. That's why I said like the round games. You play like a round. You play. Oh, by the way, Bears fan, man, you said you got blizzards.
Like
we got we got a foot and a half of snow here. I was trying to clear it out. It was a huge snowstorm here today. I still made it to the video. I don't think 2600 Pac-Man was the greatest. No, it wasn't.
No,
the Vitamin. They used to. Yeah,
it was serviceable.
Yeah,
since you stuck me on here, I'm going to take over for a minute to talk about Pac-Man on the.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think, by definition, it's not really a bad game. It plays like Pac-Man, kinda. There's not too much going on other than like flickering ghosts and everything. I think it gets that bad rap because people were more disappointed with it because it didn't look appropriate than they hated it. And then somehow it became this moniker of it being a bad game. And of course, we know between that and E.T. and all the hoopla about crashing and all this jazz. But
sometimes the story takes on legs of its own and kind of becomes so much bigger than it is. Like, it was a blue screen that was maybe not the best take, but every other game that had black backgrounds, you had so many space games, they were just trying to be a little bit different. And who says that Pac-Man had to be on a black screen? It's like, okay, give it blue, fine. Mm-hmm. Like, I was a kid at the time. I was perfectly fine with it. Pac-Man didn't turn around. I did. I don't even think that was an issue for me. Like, I noticed it when I played Ms. Pac-Man, but when I was playing Pac-Man, like, it worked. It was functional. It was serviceable. I wasn't pouring quarters in the arcade, so it worked for me.
Yeah.
It was the only game I've never really been into.
Yeah, and then you see Ms. Pac-Man, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess they could have done a better job with this. But for what it was, it sold well. There wasn't
Pac, though. They
a
did
ton
a
of returns on it. It was workable.
Well, Ms. Pac-Man was actually made by a couple of cats at MIT.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Atari 2600.
What, General Compute GCC or?
Yeah, I don't remember the actual name. Yeah, I think it was GCC.
But I'm saying, like, as opposed to how Pac-Man on 2600 was, and then when Ms. Pac version came out, and when they were doing like the little like, I was impressed with little ghosts dancing around her in a circle, and then it played the actual music. The maze was like the right shape. She actually went up and down. I was like, to me, that was just like the arcade was the better version. Michael Hayes says Junior Pac is fantastic.
It is, too. And that when did that come out? Like 85, 86? Like, that was a
later cabinet.
Yeah, but that was good.
I have a guy that never talks Pac-Man that I'd like to bring on, and that's this guy here. I don't understand every show he ever does on Tuesday. I say, when are we talking Pac-Man? He goes, oh man, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. What's
and then
happening?
I never do.
Level gaming?
It's
What's going
NLG, Namco loving guy. Let's talk about Pac-Man.
Namco loving.
Creeper, what's up, man?
Oh, Mike,
What's
how
going
are you, my
on?
friend?
It's good to see you. Good to
same here.
finally chop it up with you, like for real.
Oh, you didn't even know.
Oh yeah. So, oh man, Pac-Man. So
Pac-Man.
I'm just gonna sit back and listen. There's a lot of chop.
it's funny. It's funny you
Write
mentioned
it out.
Pac-Man because I'm finishing up this freaking 30-minute documentary on Donkey Kong, which Rab, I'm gonna want you to see first. Make sure all of.
Well, I have a documentary coming out on Donkey Kong as well. It's going to come out first.
Not
okay,
like-
well, actually,
not
the
like
other
it.
day, I wasn't like every day just saying anything he said. I'm like, I'm starting a show on Tuesdays too, 10:30.
But my next one is going to actually be Pac-Man, Chuck, and I thought about doing that just for you.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get at least 5 views a day from it.
Yes,
No.
true.
From me.
I gotta say, and
Asteroids and Defender.
you know, talking about
I agree.
Atari games, and you talked about Gary
Defender on
Kitchen
Atari.
earlier, and
Excellent. Pinball and
Circus
video.
Convoy. He did the Donkey Kong port for the 2600, and I know a lot of people give that grief, but if you understand the 2600 and then understand what he did to get that thing working with zero help or input from Nintendo, that's a freaking miracle. Especially when you then play the Intellivision version.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
And
like, with the television
isn't
version, like,
bad, it just looks weird.
the thing
And
is, with
sounds
like,
horrible.
in television version, like,
Yeah.
APH made so many, APIs and stuff to help developers with making stuff for how they thought games should be on that. And the way that they were making those games in 78, 79 was really geared towards slower strategy games, put a lot of colorful backgrounds and stuff on the screen. Like, there was a specific kind of game that Mattel had in mind to make for the Intellivision. So you had all these APIs that were built for it, and you can kind of program towards it. And the stuff they were doing for Atari was
like-
completely different arcade stuff. But to make a game that was good for Atari, I don't think had any APIs that developers were making for it. Like you had to learn all these skills and special tricks to make it work with the system. Like, it was very flexible, whereas Mattel wasn't as flexible with its system. And that's why I think when those guys left, Atari really was like, they didn't realize what they were losing in that level of talent, because that next level of, like, the Todd Fry's and the Howard Scott Warshaws and stuff, good developers, but they were on their first projects and stuff, and they were just learning this stuff, and they were maybe a little too young and too hot-headed and hadn't really learned how finicky that system could be. So maybe they were a little too ambitious, but it took a long time to kind of develop well for the Atari. So yeah, the stuff that they did for Donkey Kong, it's incredibly impressive when you realize, like, how difficult some of that stuff could be to create for that system.
It is. I really think we were talking about the homebrews made from that, where they improved it on Intellivision, like what it could have actually been. I really thought that was a great, like the D2K and the DK arcade is great. But when you go, like we said before, you go back as a little kid or however old you were when you played, and you see Nick's off tonight. We gave him the night off. No, he's got plans tonight. So.
Yeah, he's having dinner tonight, so he's
He's like, I'm not gonna hang out with these imbeciles. He's like,
I'm taking over eating on stream for him. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, wait, here we go. Indie Racing says, guys, prepare to get jealous or not. Just imported an original Pong arcade cabinet. Took like 6 months to clear customs because he's over in Israel. Cabinet smelled like weed, and drug-sniffing dogs went crazy.
God bless America.
America! Dude, Pong cabinet. Well, like an original Pong?
Nice.
Dude, good for
Like,
you.
are you
That's
talking about the
awesome.
wooden yellow one?
Yeah, and those are still like 1972 fumes.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah, you're gonna. There might be a little bit of asbestos in there.
Well, you've seen that.
handling, like,
You've seen that
holds.
nonsense Pong they have now with the
the
blocks.
glass tabletop.
Yeah,
I played that in California last summer, and you talk about the one that has the physical
Yeah.
things that move inside. I thought it was kind of fun. It was it played a little slow because it was, all magnetic motors like moving like the pixel and everything because it's a physical pixel ball and physical paddles. But when you moved those, they literally moved it. If it took skill, you had to line it up. So me and my buddy played like 4 games of it, and it was pretty cool. Tank 2 cabinet, Michael Hayes says. That's cool, man. Oh. That is awesome, man.
I need more house.
I want to, and Rab already said this was one he wanted, and it is kind of on my bucket list as well. It's like if I came across it, which was that fire truck game, which is an Atari 50th.
Oh, my God.
The fire truck because my cousin used to, like one of us would drive the front, one of us would be the back, and the whole being in physical form for that game, though, is way better. Like, you want 2 players trying to control and drive down the street without going crunch. That was one of my favorites. But anyways, I wanted to mention that the chat poll is up, and we have turn that off. Right now, it is the most innovative controller. Wow, we have 83 votes in already. So we have PlayStation, Dreamcast, Amico, and N64. I was trying to find the most ones that were different, really different from each other, and right now it was PlayStation leading at 28, but now Amico's leading at 35%. PlayStation 28 went up to 36.
How is the PlayStation controller beating the Dreamcast controller?
Yeah, Dreamcast at 19 and N64 at 18. No love for Dreamcast and N64. Well,
because the PlayStation controller is pretty much the standard controller today. So I mean,
and it came out.
I don't know about innovative, but
I would argue the Xbox controller is probably closer. Everything else is made off of that.
There's a lot, but the PlayStation...
The Atari VCS controller's made off of it. The Stadia controller was made off of it.
Yeah, but Microsoft kind of based a lot of that design based on kind of the standards of that Sony controller.
No, they made it off the Dreamcast controller. You can literally see it. I will go get them.
The Duke, I feel it with the Duke. I think the Dreamcast controller also, I think the PlayStation controller, you sell 100 million, these other companies are going to take note and kind of say, okay, we'll move towards that.
Bears fan says, but the PlayStation stole the analog.
A bigger conversation about this.
We are
going to have the bigger conversation about
sir.
Yeah. Let me know when the PlayStation gets asymmetric sticks.
Yes.
Thomas,
damn, he's legit.
Creep, do you remember Thomas Bryan? He came out with his dad to play.
I love
shots fired.
He knows I love him.
He came out to play at the Boston event with us. Yeah.
Thomas.
Good to see you, man. Really good to see you. Birdman says Wii U gamepad one. If there was a fifth option, that was my next one. Was Wii U. Wii U is definitely an innovative one.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
I will give that. I'll give the Wii U.
I would say
I went more retro than it, but I threw Amico in because we're
I would say Wii U was more innovative than the Amico controller. I mean, to go with that screen.
Yeah,
such a massive screen and its capabilities. I think it's.
It was a mini.
There you go.
It was a tablet.
Nintendo. Yeah. Matt with the precursor to PlayStation 1. You had the shoulder buttons.
Yes,
you got the four buttons on the right and the D-pad. I think that the weird, not weird, it actually plays really well, is the PlayStation D-pad as 4 buttons instead of a full round D-pad. That was kind of innovative. I think as small as that is, I think that was like a really innovative thing that they did because they raised it up like on a curve to where your thumb treated them like a D-pad, even though we were 4. Now, I'd say the least this is the least innovative right here is these Joy-Cons. It's like so you put like a PlayStation D-pad here and a Nintendo analog stick there. It doesn't make any sense. Which is why everybody uses Pro controllers and different controllers anyway. But when I got my Switch, I didn't really I have one
style
regular, but
I mean,
Mr. Bo style, good to see you. The Power Glove, that's good.
I think the elephant in the room that really needed to be on that poll for most innovative controller was the prototype for the original Gotcha. That
Gotcha guns
was an original controller.
And see, I thought for a moment that you were going to say the Saturn 3D
NES controller. Max is great. I just got rid of my Max.
The Saturn
was
3D
a really good controller.
The analog 3D controller, I said, not the standard one.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking that was the first true analog controller.
See, I kind of go back to. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of go back to some of those 70s systems.
Yeah.
The Channel F with the plunger and moving it around.
What's the one? Who was the one that had the steering wheel, the shooting gallery gun?
Telstar. The
TriStar. Talk about the most innovative.
Or Telstar Arcade.
Telstar Arcade.
Yeah.
Speaking of not innovative, I wanted to talk about this, and that is Pac-Man clones that were made. Now, we were just talking earlier about how everybody couldn't wait. Any way we could play Pac-Man back in the day. There was so much out there, but it actually started a maze craze, which is actually a game I saw today that's on the 2600.
Yeah.
It's just funny that I named it that. But
Came 2 years earlier.
There were so many
3 years on Atari.
And I put together this. Now, one of the ones I remember, and we could talk over this. It's not going to have audio, but this one, smash that
Munchman.
There you go. Munchman.
EI 99 4A.
Yep.
Dude,
I'm paying for this. I have that.
My cousins hate Casey Munchkin right there from the Odyssey. Munchman on Texas Instruments. I love how the power pellets. Yeah, Lock and Chase was mine too, dude. What's happening, Flyleaf? Yeah, the Texas Instruments was the power pellet. Like, they had a state of Texas as the power pellet. But I played this, and Pac-Man pretty much, or Munchman poops out the maze. So it's like the opposite of Pac-Man.
Yes, the chain link fence.
Pac-Man fever. Yeah, it was like the lattice work fence, exactly. Yeah. And then you got games
Ladybug.
like Ladybug, dude. This was just a slew. Hey, CT's in the house.
Yeah,
N64 and television controllers not only my fave, but both influential. Yeah, very experimental. And then you had a phone-looking one, and you got the one that had dual analogs plus multiple buttons and a D-pad and triggers.
And I think TI also had Car Wars, which was like a take on Head On, which is a couple years preceding Pac-Man.
Yeah. And then you got Pengo's a great arcade game, by the way.
Oh gosh!
And you know, Rab, the TI had a voice module.
Yep.
For games like
Mousetrap, another one. Yep.
Mousetrap was excellent. See, now they're just bringing up awesome ColecoVision games.
But it was like everybody wanted to do a maze. It's like after Pac-Man, they're like, people wanted to do characters and mazes.
Yeah.
Mr. Do.
And look at this.
Even Mr.
Lock and
Castle,
Chase.
which you think about those platform games. I mean, the original platformers like Donkey Kong and stuff were that's a maze game just turned on a different access.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Nick was here, he'd talk about like the junk mechanic. Like, hey, this character started jumping and moving, you know? And I thought that was just really, really awesome. Like I really thought that was just.
How about Lockjaw, which came out, which was like what, Apollo Games or something, US Games?
I thought you meant Jawbreaker. You mean there's one called
that was with it was their Jaws, but I think they were sued and they had to change the name of it. But you go around, you're a swimmer, and you can go and collect the pellets while the shark comes and tries to eat you through the maze, or it comes off the side of the screen. Wizard of War was a great one.
A great game.
Pepper 2, says Luke.
Yeah. Burger Time.
Yeah, Burger Time. There you go. Yeah, if you're talking about like the grid system. Dig. That's another genre. Is great. Dig Dug, Mr. Do.
Which is
what
another kind of maze.
Would you call this?
Way to dig your own maze, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. What genre would you call those kind of games, though? I mean, Donkey Kong was a platformer, of course. Burger Time was a platformer. But what was Dig Dug and Mr. Do and those kind of games?
Oh my God, Dig Dug and Mr. Do. Digging games, right? I would say digging.
Yeah.
Where you had to unearth territory that slowed you down.
Look, you're almost creating your own
maze. Yeah.
Well, then you have like a Load Runner, which is a platformer, but also a digger where you're slowing down and trapping enemies. I would say it's still sort of like it's not a maze game, and I think like a lot of those, like we call them a maze game, but Pac-Man is not in a maze. It's just like obstacles. It's like you're not trying to figure out the maze. You're just maneuvering around these things, and I think you do the same in Dig Dug. It's just a little bit.
TRS-80. B-Ready
You
says
create your own ways.
The Coco
the Mega
3.
Bug is TRS-80 Coco game was like Pac-Man. You know what's funny is, and I don't know if Ray is
Or
still
Entombed
in the chat.
was another one.
My
Yeah.
buddy Ray in the chat, he just found in his home, because his dad was he did computers was his life, and he found I think 4 in-box TSR-80s brand new.
Oh wow!
Oh
man.
Yeah. So I gotta have Ray on the show to show these off, show those off. And just because I remember like on like when you talk about Radio Shack or Tandy games or the TRS, I think I had one game that I remember the most, which was and I look back at it now and it's so terrible, but was Dungeons of Daggerath. And it was almost done vector.
I love Alien on the 2600.
Alien.
Oh,
Alien, yeah. I don't have that would be a cool in-box game because it would look like the movie because there was the black with the green
20th Century Fox put out those black
like the MASH and the Alien, and there was a few.
Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes.
That's one of my favorites.
You mentioned that before.
Fantastic Voyage is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, B-Ray's Dungeons and Daggerath, dude. The wizard, but it was just an outline, and you'd get him, and then he'd just turn into dots and disappear. And then the cobra or the snake, the serpent would come up. It was like Treasure of Tarman. Like it was a dungeon crawling Dungeons and Dragons style game. But yeah, dude, something about it, and the cartridge with the blue and the yellow and the red with the beast, the rock looking goblin beast coming out. Like it was, or whatever he was, if I remember it right. Sounds of the monsters getting close and the heartbeat. Yep. The heartbeat scared the crap out of me, and then you'd slowly die, and didn't the heartbeat get like faster until you died? That was fun. That was like super, super, super fun.
So hey Rab, have you ever played Thunderground on the Atari?
Yeah.
It's a Sega title.
Yeah, an old Sega title.
Where would you put that in the same categories like Dig Dug and all that?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up.
You're a tank trying to dig through the
thing. You're a tank and you go and you're shooting or you're like a specialist and you're going and shooting tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And you're undermining and digging and making your own paths and sets. Yeah, I think the fact that it's not an original maze, but you can it's like a sandbox maze. You can kind of carve out your own path. And I think that is, I'm trying to remember the story behind like how Dig Dug started, but it was something familiar where they saw something and they wanted sort of a maze game and they wanted the harpooning and for them to like blow up the enemies, but they like misunderstood and they were like inflating the enemies because the Japanese guys who saw the original, like there was an English game that was put out and they saw it and they didn't understand
wherever.
Yeah, I would say that
in the ear is what I meant to say.
I consider that still like a maze game. It has all the elements of a maze game. It's just you're making your own maze. And when I pulled up Entombed, because you can go and you can build your own doors, or a Ladybug, you can flip
to change directions,
or like a Clue Land. You're grabbing on and you're changing directions.
Someone just mentioned that
on the post.
What's up, Fastback? Good to see you. Are you from the NLG podcast? I heard they're doing a whole Pac-Man show next Tuesday.
Yeah. I just renamed you guys. You're only Namco licensed game.
Only Namco games.
Only Namco.
You're niche, but you're welcome. There's a lot of Xbox stuff out there. You guys are gonna love this. Just as soon as Namco gets their act together.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, it's crazy the maze clones, but
do you guys
they're
know?
So good too.
Do you guys know the oldest maze game and the first clone?
Wait,
like
the oldest maze game would have to be like Odyssey, like a maze on the Odyssey.
Yeah, I was drawing them back then in the day.
And the drawings, of course, by you.
Right.
But there was like a maze on the Odyssey, the original Odyssey, wasn't there? I mean,
there was a maze,
about, like actual graphically made, but a graphically made one, I don't know. I would say Odyssey for like an actual maze game, but was there like a Pong console that had it graphically or no?
Yeah, you're about 2 decades too late. So the original maze game was something called Mouse and Maze or Mouse and Maze.
Okay.
1959.
59? But it was
on the TX0. This is a room size mainframe that MIT built. They built it back in like 1955, and they disassembled it at like Lincoln Laboratories. They brought it over to MIT, and the original programmers, Ivan Sutherland and Claude Shannon, built this game where you could actually, they had a light pen that they used to draw the maze on a tablet back in 1958. Yeah. So they could draw it, and then behind it, it would pick up the sensor of like where your lines were. So it would create they could create the maze, and then after their maze was created, they could set out pieces of cheese for a mouse to find, and then they ran the system, and this little mouse would run around the maze and find the pieces of cheese or like glasses of wine that they would go and search for. It was also the first game that was actually the first maze game clone, because another set of programmers who were from MIT, they had to set up this system at Eglin Air Force Base in the Panhandle of Florida. And this was in like 1960, late 59 or 1960. So they set up the system, and they were at MIT, and they remembered playing this game, and they loved it. So they recreated that game on the TX0 that they created there. So it's like one of the first clones, if not the first clone game. But it's definitely the first Maze Craze clone game. Yeah. And this was, as early as like Tennis for Two and, William Higginbotham in Brookhaven Laboratory. I mean, this is computer games back in the 50s that people were playing and making games for, and playing the equivalent of Pac-Man.
People even knew there was like computer games like people were making at these universities, and
22 years before Pac-Man.
Wow, man. But the whole thing of Pac-Man, which is so great though, it's like when that came out as being like one of the like the main like the ones that hit the what do you want to call it? Yeah, like it was just the main what's the word I'm looking for? The mainstream. It's amazing. You're talking about Corn or no, just kidding. Amazing.
Another game for the TI-99.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, amazing. Well, for the Commodore VIC-20, I used to have Tooth Invaders, and that's a weird game, but I absolutely loved it. Once again, it's what you grow up.
That one.
So we have a great. This is going to be fun to talk about, and I know. Rab has a lot to talk about on this, and it was talking about just how we predicted the future of gaming would be back in the day. Like, for example, talking about how like one of my favorite systems, the 3DO. It's a weird system. A lot of people don't like it, and it's got some weird games or bad games, but it's also got some great stuff. And a lot of the things back then, it was just the precursor, and also around during the PlayStation 1. So you start getting CD-ROMs, you had your Sega CD, your TurboGrafx CD, and PC Engine and stuff. But you had the 3DO was like the first going into 32-bit, trying to. Hey, what's up, HDK?
Hey,
Howdy,
Peter.
Hey.
And but you
love how you left the CDI out. I love how you left the CDI out.
Oh yeah, well it's garbage. So, you talking about that crappy Mario Hotel? And
yes, Mario Hotel and whatever Zelda game.
Oh, it was like that hand-drawn cartoon looking. Oh, I get shivers thinking about that. Those were actually games.
Someone at Philips right now is just like, I worked so hard for you guys. Bastards.
You shouldn't have. Believe me.
But CDI, I don't know. I've never had one, so I rip on it because it's just easy.
Thanks, girl.
But like, I really think that the 3DO is kind of similar. There's someone that never. I happen to pick one up. In '95, a couple years after it was already starting to tank. But I got a bunch of games, Need for Speed, Road Rash. But besides that, FMV, like everybody thought full motion video, interacting with video would be the future game, and you can't get more real than live video. Well, that obviously in 2023, even before that, was not the case. Like it was kind of a flop. Like it was kind of cheesy. It didn't work. Even stuff like Supreme Warrior, while innovative, where you went to go strike, like, and you had like the people fighting like this, doing moves, but it would load, like, and you thought that would be it because I'm looking at video, there's nothing realer, but then people started doing realistic art into games, which is what we have now, like games like that alien abduction game. It looks like you're literally walking through a dark house, and you gotta, and you're going through the cornfield, and you got like a light, and you can see that just the way they draw everything, it looks like photorealistic. And that was kind of the way it went. They still used programming and graphics, and not just relying on let's record something, compress it, and put it on a game disc. So anyways, and Rab, I guess I'll start with you, because I know this was kind of something that you were talking about. So like, what was and chat, please chat. I want you to really take part of this. What do you think? What did you think was going to be the future of games, but it never came to be? So please pop up your answers in there. I want to see what you guys think about that.
Just to add a little bit to what you were saying with full motion video. I mean, full motion capture did become the wave of the future. It was just 20 years too early. You know, after Lord of the Rings, and they kind of perfected that technology. Now every game that looks photorealistic, they have actors going through that, and they're capturing that information. That's why some of this is so costly, because they're using Hollywood techniques to really make it look so realistic. So yeah, we don't have grainy compressed videos anymore like we did in the early 90s.
Right.
Love those games for
remember the digitized sprites?
Unwell they aged. But
in the 90s. Yep.
It just took a while to reach. For me, the thing that I always thought as a kid would become a thing, and it was just like, you know, you see something like Star Trek, and they're talking to the computer, you know, computer, we have alien life forms on the planet, and they're all body painted women. I will, whatever. So, I mean, they're talking to the computer.
Are we talking Avatar? No spoilers.
No spoilers. I'm talking Star Trek, but just the integration of like voice.
Green and blue women, yeah.
I thought interaction with computers through talking would be a thing, like a normalized thing by now. Because you had 2001 Space Odyssey. Please shut the pod bay door, or open the pod bay door, Hal. And I can't do that, Dave. You had the computer talking with you in war games. It was like interacting with you, and you were just talking. Well, I mean, I think you were typing to it, but the computer was talking, and it had so much synthesized voice coming out, the Intellivision IntelliVoice, and the TI voice module that they added on to that, and the Odyssey 2's voice module. So everything was moving towards either voice, like digitalized human voice. So you had a lot of that. Texas Instruments Speak and Spell. Creepy, but you had that. Or you had, I remember getting like the AV video cart wheeled in, and like learning about like stuff that's going on in science and technology. And they were like, the future is you're going to be talking to computers, and it can understand you.
Digitize actors.
And all that stuff about just, interacting with the computer. And I thought, there's all sorts of games that would really be helpful for. Like, I loved text adventure games, but I hated trying to figure out what I could do and what I couldn't do. Move left. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Walk left. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Turn left. Okay, your character turns left. It's like, Jesus, you took that long for me to figure this out. But with voice command and stuff, and the stuff we have now, it just seems like it would be a natural progression for gaming to be very interactive with voice. And that really, there are some games that do that, but it's so few and far between. Like, you really have to search to find them. Like, there is a mobile game where you are a World War II commander, and you're issuing commands over the radio, and you're using your voice. So you're giving instructions, and it is understanding some of your instructions that you are giving, so that you can send whole platoons or squadrons out to do things. And if you think about the way gaming is now, like, I control a character, and I totally have total control with my controller over that character. Yeah. If I want to control anything else, I have to like toggle through a menu, or I have to use one of the controls to like toggle across the screen. It's a little cumbersome. But I could just say, if I'm playing Star Wars Rogue Squadron, hey, Red 5, 2 o'clock, go after him, or whatever your control would be. I think that'd be interesting to see. And I think it'd be interesting for us as people that now like watch other people stream games to see other people interact with those controls. And what do you come up with as your, vocabulary list of telling the computer what to do? I want you to like, tear a hole in this guy. So how do you tell the computer to do that?
Don't worry. The AI is working on that right now.
AI and Chat GPT and all this stuff.
Oh, Neuralink. That was a big thing that just hit. Neuralink.
That's how Skynet got started.
Yeah,
dude, I'm like, why? I don't want anything in my brain. Like, I love games, not that much. Oh, look at that.
That's how it got started.
But I just thought there was so much room for that, and I'd love to see more. And I was just like, I'm surprised that really hasn't taken shape, because I think there's room to make interesting games on that concept.
Well, yeah, Nintendo combining touchscreens with motion controls in 3D, they've been pretty innovative. I mean, you got stuff like the Wii, which we talk about. Like the Wii was great with the motion control. I wasn't sold until I actually played like that first bowling game, going, "Wow, I'm throwing a ball down a lane." It was, it's simple graphics but fun, simple games. And then you had you had like the Wii U with the touch screen. But back in the day, you had the Virtual Boy trying to do it with the the goggles with the red. You had a headache after, but like a lot of people love that. I played some of Virtual Boy games that were great. I never had a real one. I just played them, like an.
I played them on the kiosk. That was it.
The kiosk I had. Yes, I did. I remember having. What's up, Esmil? Good to see you, Silly Club member.
The problem is game. It's not that they didn't want to do that, but the gaming community just rejected it outright. I mean, Microsoft pushed for what you were talking about with Kinect, and to the point to where they bundled, they gave you this, they made it mandatory to have it with the Xbox One, and made games react to what you were doing. Two of my favorites actually were Dead Rising 4, which if you were kind of walking around and trying to do something and you made a sound, like one of my kids would come downstairs and say, "Hey, Dad," the zombies would hear that.
They'd turn around
know where you are.
That's right.
And the other one was NBA 2K.
Right.
You're playing and something happens, you cuss, you get a technical foul. I mean, those are the things that they started to do, and gamers, number one, gamers didn't want it.
You curse and you get a contract extension.
Yeah, right. And then everybody started pushing the conspiracy theory that the system was watching you and the government was taking all your,
always on. But I think like in 2016, that was too soon. Now I don't think people would care. So it's like one of those things. Well, how much do you listen to your audience, and how much do you kind of say, we think this is a good thing and we're going to write it out? And that's a difficult thing to say, because you want to be responsive. But on the other side of that token, sometimes things take a little while to catch on and really gain that audience.
They didn't stick with it. And this is where I
think of all the ghost hunters that got free equipment.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we used a lot of Kinect.
I want to play that.
For some AR.
I want to play that Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Looks really cool. Or you could be a ghost and terrorize the Ghostbusters, or you could be a Ghostbuster. I think that's pretty cool.
Is that out on Oculus?
That's awesome, man. That's like awesome to think about. Anyway, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Was that on Oculus?
I think they have a VR version, but the Ghostbusters are on all the consoles.
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's just a console game. I thought that for some reason I thought that was a VR game.
They have a VR game. I'd have to look up and see what it's called. There was a VR game made, or it's about to come out, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check.
I haven't seen anything about a VR Ghostbusters. I know they did some augmented reality stuff with toys for kids, but I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, VR game. Okay, Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord on Oculus. That's the one.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's just a different.
Yeah, it's on Oculus, which I don't have. So
I've learned.
I never will.
I've learned there's Ghostbusters and how to pronounce Oculus.
The kids are all playing. It's funny. I'm at my buddy's house. Was it yesterday? And his kids just got the mask on. Dude, like I've never tried one of those. What is it? I can't. What's going on here? Can someone homebrew Cat Fighter on the Virtual Boy? Oh, you mean Cat Fighter! Man, I bet our producers doesn't like that, because that's always really loud. Let's see who the producer is. Actually, let's check in on the producer here. Let me see. I got a link here.
Look at me. I'm a producer now. Merp, merp.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was the flamingo.
Just remember, Creeper, you wanted to come on this show.
Hey.
Was that some sort of joke, Mike?
That ain't funny. Not funny at all.
Right, Mike.
Wow. Our producer says that is not funny at all.
I think that's aerator.
Yeah.
What is the most expensive rare? I have aerator, dude.
Or the what is the one
Better
with
not.
the,
I mean, if it is, that's awesome. But
no,
like,
the T-handled.
That's
one
just
that
called
does
Air
only-
Raid.
Air Raid. Thank
Air
you.
Raid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say I have aerators for the M network. I'm like, oh, I saw like 3 other copies at the store today. I'll run back and get them.
I believe it's
River
Star
Raid.
Raiders. Yeah, there's like only one copy out in existence.
Yeah.
Also,
Star
Super-
Raiders, dude. I
Super
remember
Mario
Star
Brothers for
Raiders.
the 910 Nintendo, I think is a good.
Oh, I'm thinking of
rare
Star
game.
Master. I'm thinking of Star Master.
That joke just bombed.
Yeah.
So Creep,
sounds
Creep, what did you think of like back in the day? What did you think the future of gaming would be? Was it like VR or was it with the digitized sprites or what?
It's weird. Right around the PlayStation time, I said to myself, this is all going to turn into computers. I honestly thought console gaming was going to stay between that 16
I
and
hear ya.
32-bit world. And anything hyper realistic would eventually be on a computer. Well, which consoles are now anyway, right?
They really are, right? They're almost like having a computer.
Right. But we weren't
Custom
used to
computer.
that. Then it was all separate. So I said to myself, you know what, especially like with the Jaguar and all that, even though a lot of people didn't like it, I saw all that power, but it was still the graphics I was so used to.
Yeah.
And even Nintendo with the Wii kind of solidified that a little bit, that some of these consoles are going to keep games in a fun mode versus realistic mode.
Yeah, big
And then
time.
the realistic stuff would go to the computers.
Mhm.
I think I'm 50-50 right in my predictions from back then, because technically consoles and computers, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
And there is still a good market for that fun style game. What we grew up with, the 16, 32,
I agree.
Yeah. I really didn't have too much of a prediction. I just thought that my games
Yeah.
were going to continue to be made while this elite group over here plays with these super technical things.
Super stuff. Well, it's like to the point now where, and this is just me and just my opinion, but
Yeah.
like I got it, like the last console I got, well, I mean, obviously that was before the whole pandemic thing, but
Mhm.
and that kind of stunted me on a lot of stuff, everything. But I had an Xbox One, and I played like Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was playing like God, what else did I play on there? Like the Star Wars stuff. Was it Far Cry? But it was like I was almost getting my Grand Theft Autos, which I love.
Right.
But because it's just, especially just doing open exploration and cheats and just running around and seeing what you could explore and what you could pull off and without getting like killed. But it's stuff like that. I got, and once again, just me, I got bored going, okay, I get it. This is awesome. It's very cool.
Mhm.
But going back to stuff like this, which didn't take a long time to play, but it to me, and I guess that's why I'm such a retro guy at heart. Whether Future got awesome and realistic with games, which I love, and it's like a separate love, but to go back and play like Robo Warrior on the NES or to play Asteroids on the Atari or Frogger, or just even though it's not the greatest version, like I love that version of Frogger, like we were saying,
Right.
And to play Contra or play Astro Smash, and I think that's why, hey, I'm going to talk Amico because it's an Amico podcast, right? That's the whole reason I got into that, because it was bringing that simple gameplay, but with something innovative and brand new. Jaguar, dude.
Someone brought it up. I had to pick the box up.
That's my next two. My whole year this year is Atari 2600 collecting.
Yeah.
Jaguar might be the next one because I've never experienced it other than stuff that I've seen played. So I'm actually going to try to pick a Jaguar up in a couple games, mess around with it, and then start to build that collection.
My worst
and
mistake.
it's funny that you're doing that with the Atari 2600, because
Yeah.
I have limited experience with the Jaguar, but I just picked it up for the first time ever I had a buddy who had it when it first came out, so I got to play it a little bit. But I think it's pretty rad that you're looking into the 2600 and exploring it in the same way I did. I had a little bit of experience, but never really dug into it. That'd be pretty rad. I suggest getting one of these, though. If you go to Atari Age, Stone Age Gamer sells these through Atari Age for $200.
Oh, that's like it's like an EverDrive almost for the Jaguar, right?
Exactly what it is. Okay. Yeah,
and that's what I got one of those for my Turbo Graphics, which is like that's another one, but unfortunately the Turbo is insane to try to collect for at this point. So I'm kind of stuck.
That's why I got that. I'm not buying games.
The EverDrive is the best, dude, or any of those type of drives, I should say.
I got lucky that the deal I did came with one boxed game.
Which is Alien Predator. Yeah.
There's no way in hell, even loose, I'm going to be collecting unless I find something that's like smoking hot,
What's going on with our producer here?
Guess who? It's me, taking a dump and producing. Merp.
Merping around and stuff. I mean, at least it's not E.T. screaming.
I'll take it.
Most people do.
I got to go back to some obscure fact and keep that flamingo off the show.
Yeah,
I will say this real quick though.
You know what, Nick, come back, Nick, come back.
Well, either that or you get replaced by a flamingo, or this beautiful flamingo.
That is a beautiful glass. I have to say that is a beautiful glass.
We're running out of the time, but I do want to close the poll here. Hold on. Wow, so PlayStation wins this. PlayStation
makes no sense.
What? No, I understand though. I do like PlayStation. I like everything, but I do like PlayStation for the controller. So 36% said the PlayStation is the most innovative controller. 29%, 10 down, is the Amico most innovative. N64 at 18, and then the Dreamcast is awesome. I think it's very innovative with that removable stuff. Yeah. The Dreamcast at 15%, for those four at least. We had a total of almost 130 votes. 129 it stopped at.
So is this original PlayStation, or was this the entirety of the PlayStation brand? Because I
would say the original DualShock would be fair.
Yeah. Just because it hasn't changed. They've added like some couple buttons, but I mean, other than that same shape, same
shape,
form.
same concept.
Yeah, that concept of how that is, I think, has been pretty.
I mean, creating the symbols instead of the A and B and X and Y and
like
1, 2, 3, 4, all that stuff.
For a purpose that never happened, but
you ever see those? That's his art. There's T-shirts of the X triangle, square, circle, and like was it level 857 guys? They got that one of those light up neon or one light up signs that's got the X, circle, square, and triangle. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that it's just become iconic for PlayStation. So that's innovative in itself too, and it's just I don't know.
The VMU on the Dreamcast controller.
You're right.
It
was like a Tamagotchi upgrade.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah. I actually have a ton of those. I played the Kale game from Sonic Adventure.
VMU game homebrews. Yes. Oh, they got the homebrews now. Yes. I'm learning so much of how many homebrews they are. Let me take this banner off here. That the homebrews for like Sega Genesis might be my next new hobby, because I'm seeing some extraordinary Sega Genesis game homebrews. I've been seeing some videos on, so I might have to get into that.
Real great stuff coming out.
Oh my god! And I love Sega, and I'm trying to do all the grid box, the black grid box, which and I got a couple of the sports games. To be honest, though. Why I'm not going to collect all the sports games. They're in bins. Like every sports game since Atari all the way up to the newest is once the year's over, they're $5 in a bin to this day. There's nothing that even the NHL 94, 95, 96 for Genesis, which was some of the best hockey games. You could go buy that for $10.
Oh yeah,
94. I put many hours in.
That's
94. 94 was really good. I had 90. I have 97 for the Saturn. I really liked that one.
Yeah,
this is the best hockey game, and they still got communities upgrading everything. Indy Racing says
that's the first manual I ever saw that was daunting.
Thank you, brother.
This was the best, dude. I remember Dreamcast had the shaft, 2 plug-in modules, VMU, buttons for days. PlayStation was good, but hardly innovative. Hey,
had a microphone adapter, had a rumble,
Casey.
had a rumble adapter.
What's up, Henny? What's happening, Casey? Oh, we're about to take off soon too. Good to see you though, man. Thanks for
You
stopping.
needed a fishing pole adapter and not just a separate fishing pole
Yeah.
for the Dreamcast.
I mean, the Wii just had your controllers. You like plug it into this golf. Remember, there was like aftermarket stuff with a baseball bat, golf.
Oh, it's too much of that. Too much of that. Yeah.
They made the bowling ball that you actually put your fingers in to throw.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they had one of those for the Wii.
We didn't let go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you still held
Saturn
on.
Sports, dude. I was gonna bring up Bomberman. Was it 10? I thought it was only 8. Saturn Bomberman is 10 players, or is it 8 players?
I think it's 8 because you had 2. You could use 2 multi-tap.
Mm.
And the multi-taps
Four-
were 4.
four
So yeah, it was 8. It was 8 player.
Because PC Engine taps were 5 apiece.
Someone hasn't jerry-rigged his multi-taps.
Yeah, I got. Man, I did.
Right, plug a multi-tap into the multi-tap to get
You got your
36 players.
right. Right.
That'd be the way to go, man. To play more than 8 games, you had to play in wide mode. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, dude. So I went to the store. I went to that retro store. They had a 3DO and Sega Saturn and Dreamcast game. Now, mind you, I look for stuff collectible in box, so none of this stuff is in box. But a lot of secondhand cases with manuals and disc, I could have bought them, and I probably should. Well, I mean, no one's going to that store today to get it. But I saw 3DO Crash and Burn, Corpse Killer, and what was another? There was another one, the Mad Dog series, and Alone in the Dark, and a couple other ones. I'm like, dude, I should pick these up for $20 and then get the empty box, and then it's worth like $300. Even if I'm paying $50 for a box or $100 for a box, it would complete it. So it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, but they had a bunch of Sega Saturn stuff there too, and I was like, I wasn't familiar. But they had Sega, was it CD or Saturn? They had Sylpheed.
That's Sega CD.
That's CD.
They had that for like $24.
Get
was
it.
Like, it was in the case too.
Get it.
The thing was, it's missing the front manual, but it has the original case and the backing and everything.
Anyway.
So I think I might go back. So I talked to Retro Taku, and we're about to go film there. I'm gonna get them a message. So next month we're gonna go film there. Yes, Michael Hayes, that is the one I'm looking for. 4-player Zagnos, the People Party. I might actually see if Rab wants to record one playing that.
Get a list. Get a list of the Saturn games that are there and let me know, because if there are any that are reasonable, I've been getting more imports.
They're all $20 to $24, but most of them are just disc or disc and manual. So if you could find a case, then it's worth it. But if not, like I said, the 3DO stuff, I could look for a long box. But if it doesn't at least have disc and manual, it's not. To me, it wasn't.
If they've got disc and manual, I can get a pack of 10 of the replacement cases on Amazon for like $50.
And they have the spine prints and everything.
No, you'd have to go and I'd still have to go and like print out the.
Oh, I see.
I'll be honest with you. At this point in my collecting life, I really don't care. I just want to play the games.
Yeah, I see. I like both. I'm kind of a stickler on the original boxes, which is why if it wasn't for that, I'd probably have repros of everything all the way
most
up
of
to
these,
the 10 games I need.
For most of these, I'm a stickler, but like once you get past that like 75 to 120 mark, it's like I don't want to put that kind of money into a game. They're not museum pieces. I'm fine to get a replica, and if it looks nice, great. I'm not showing these off to anybody. I don't need to impress anybody. I'd rather have something that I can pick up and like, oh, this is the box. It's not the box that came from the store, but it's still cardboard. It's still all the same colors. It's the same picture. It looks the same. I'm fine with that. Like I'd rather, someone who's doing a little bit of work and making a little bit of money out there.
Yeah.
Give them $35 for a box, then pay $400.
Yeah, there's those
somebody else who's just going to flip it.
Remember we were one time during the after show we were looking on Etsy and they had like so many people making custom boxes. Yeah. Like if I could pay one of those people that with their hard work and go, listen, I want a Spiker repro box. I found an original cartridge for $200, but I'm not going to pay $2,000 to have the original box. So I got the cartridge and manual. Can you do a repro box for me? I'll give you $50 or something. And then there you go. And then that's on your shelf. And I'm complete. Do I have the original game? Yes. Original manual? Yes. Repro box, because they're almost impossible to find at a good price. So like that, I have no problem with them when it comes to your last 2 games that are just beyond reasonably unreasonably expensive. And and some of the NES stuff's like that too, which is, I'd never done any NES inbox except the one copy of Punch-Out I have, but like everything else, I mean, most people do if they're doing a full collection of NES, unless they're rich beyond means, it's always carts. It's always carts and sleeves. Like, you never see someone have a complete box set. I mean, you do, but I'm saying it's just so, especially
same with Super Nintendo, because it's just so expensive
right now.
N64, I mean,
N64 through the roof. And I keep bringing this up, but after seeing, I found the other store I went to a couple weeks ago had a Doom 64 sealed in box, $749.
Get out of here.
It wasn't water rated or anything like that crap, but it was sealed mint and in a box protector. And I was like, oh, I'm like, dude, I had Doom 64. You know how many times I've seen Doom 64? Went, whatever. And just kind of like sifted through at a garage sale, like, and to see it now. But anyways, I digress. But we are about to get out of here pretty soon. But before we do, I want to thank everyone for coming on, especially the Atari Creep.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
I got to reach. I would like to know what is your top 5 Atari games, maybe that I don't have or I should get.
Kaboom.
Your top 5 like obscure ones that they're not commons, like Combat.
Oh, well, we talked about Thunderground earlier. That's not too obscure, but not too many people talk about it.
Nice.
Thunderground.
Okay.
Yeah, Solar Fox is another one. It's kind of
that's a good one. Yeah,
you're going through and you're just trying to eat up dots.
That's like Pac-Man meets Space Invaders.
Is Solar Fox? Is that what you said?
Solar Fox.
Okay,
that's a good one.
Yep. Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes, which was mentioned earlier.
I remember that. I remember seeing that name of that one.
Yeah. Nothing obscure from there is coming to mind.
Creep strikes me as a Beanie Bopper guy.
Beanie Bopper. I have that. I've never played it. I've never played it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a little easy.
Like most of the catalog.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool, because like Mega Mania, I thought was my buddy's like, you never play Mega Mania? I'm like, sounds like WrestleMania, but it was a shooter and you're shooting typewriters. It's crap, and I'm like, oh my god,
Fighter.
That's a good one.
Another Activision.
Spider Fighter. I've heard of that too.
I didn't play that one.
Whenever I go to a retro night, and I bring my Atari, and people, they laugh at me.
Yeah,
I put in Spider Fighter. And almost every time there's that one cat that was really adamant about telling you how stupid you are. Sits there and hogs the controller for a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's fun because it's fun, dude. That's the whole thing. It doesn't matter if it's a blip, a bleep, or a blob. It's fun, man.
And the one game that's common that I'm surprised you don't have is Space Invaders. That's my favorite part.
That is one. Well, I have the cart. I have a ton of cards, but like inbox, I actually saw one there today, but it was ripped up beyond. Like the whole back was kind of ripped off and it was taped. I'm like, and it's not much. Like this Missile Command's got a little bit of glue from when they pulled the tab, but it's not bad. Like I'll do that. But the Space Invaders and the Berserk they had, like the corner was like. It looked like it was eaten off, It was still in good shape, but I was like, I could turn it this way, but I was like, I'm not going to, what am I going to do? Like, I want them at least fair, but yeah, Space Invaders is one on my list, and so is Berserk.
One more somewhat obscure, Beam Rider. Yeah.
Is
Beam Rider. Beam
Rider.
Oh, dude, I play that all the time on Intellivision. It's one of the best.
I've got the Intellivision games. I got the Intellivision board
before I had the Intellivision.
Yeah,
because I liked the Atari so much.
Oh yeah.
Between that and Dracula, they just sat on a shelf until I got my second Intellivision.
That's one I need.
I'm surprised how good it is on the Intel. Actually, I like it better.
Yeah, the Beam Rider is good on that too. Yeah. I'll check that out, man, because that's that. And then like Cosmic Arc, everybody's like, because I keep saying I saw it twice.
Fun.
Cosmic Arc,
pick it up. It's $4. Pick it up. I'm like, I should pick it up.
Yeah. Cosmic Arc was really fun.
And I want
enjoyed that
Demon Attack Atari is completely different than Demon Attack in television, so I definitely want that in my collection. So that's like a couple of the Magic games I might get.
Yep.
Anyways, what you got coming up on the Atari Creep channel, man?
I'm actually about to start this year's Alzheimer's campaign.
Very cool.
I registered
Nice.
like 2 weeks ago, so we're going to start gearing up for that. I got my 2K subscriber giveaway I need to start actually finalizing. I'm giving away a 2600 4-switch with a handful of games.
Awesome.
And we're debating on whether I'm going to customize it or not right now. So we'll see where
Everybody
that goes.
get over there and subscribe to the
Yeah.
Atari Creep, man, because like
Chris, that
it's
is
got a great channel. Obviously, a lot of Atari, a lot of building, a lot of guitar stuff, a lot of just chatting, just
Thank you, man.
fun stuff, and it's always fun. And I have so much going on, and it's rare that I try to catch people when they're doing stuff, and
Yeah.
when I do, it's always you're always doing something interesting, man.
Oh,
And
thanks, man.
it's awesome. And but yeah, please subscribe, and also for that Alzheimer's Foundation. It's such a great cause, and please, if anything, subscribe and hit a notification for him so you could check that out, because it's a great cause to donate. If anyone's ever suffered from Alzheimer's, it's awful, and just to help that out is amazing. I'm
Every
sorry.
year
Go
I
ahead.
get more and more stories. No, that's all right, dude. And now that I have a Jaguar, we're going to be playing around with that quite a bit.
Very cool.
And I guess the last thing to
Yeah,
really
you
mention
are.
is I'm going to start doing giveaways every live stream. I get so much crap here, I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
But you have to join my Creep Collective, join the page or channel,
Yes,
whatever it's
yes.
called. It's 99 cents. And that's really only to say that, one, you're in this 48 states, or you'll pay the shipping out of, lower 48.
Right.
And that I don't have to chase you around for an address. That's all. Seriously, I just want you to be serious about wanting to win crap while I stream. That's all.
Hey,
You
I
don't even
hear
have to be at the stream.
Yeah, and it's a good way to support people that are, there and consistently supporting, what you're doing.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to give away.
You look for ways to give back.
Yeah, it's this thing. I put this together a long time ago. It's a Raspberry Pi 3D printed Atari VCS.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
I was trying to do it before it released, so it
cool.
would be in the background freaking people out, but and
Dude,
I misjudged
that
the
is
size.
at first I was like, you're giving away a VCS? Like I was like,
If I
I'm
had the
gonna have
means,
to.
I would. If I had the
Yeah.
means, I.
Oh
definitely would.
yeah, for sure. I'm surprised they wouldn't have to. I'm surprised they wouldn't send you one. I wrote a haiku for Chuck. Burning Red Wing shirts. Every thread is now ablaze. Here comes the cops.
That was beautiful.
So much hatred for the Red
Hey,
Wings.
thanks,
Oh my
Bo Style. I
god.
appreciate that, buddy.
But yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Rab, what do you got coming up, man? Anything scheduled, or I know
nothing scheduled.
I
I was
was
able to.
checking just to make
Yeah,
sure.
no, thank you. I was able to put in about 10 hours towards editing. It was really nice to get that in. Yeah, I've got a big series I'm working towards, and I've decided I'm not in a rush. I want to get it out when it's ready. There's a lot of work that's going into this, and hopefully people will see that. Until then, it's just I'm here hanging out with you guys and chatting about
We love so, and we learn
mice
we
and
love we learn.
mazes eating cheese back in the 50s, because that's how we did.
How you do it? Having the fedora and the gangster suit, and then you eat the cheese. Mike, what you got coming up on the next level gaming?
Well,
What's up, Mike?
Hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike. I am finishing up the.
I am. You too.
Yeah. my
Sorry.
video will come out before yours. You're just mad because I like the Xbox controller. I don't know why. Why are you so upset with me?
I love the Xbox controller. I just
Man, you two are
we disagree on the origins.
Even if I have my Xbox,
Well,
you know it's out there.
Anyway, so I am finishing up what started as just hey, let me compare versions of Donkey Kong to a freaking 30-minute documentary. So I am finishing up the rest of my narration, getting it all together, and I am hoping to have that up this weekend. And then I'm going to start. I'm dead serious. The next game I'm going to start on is Pac-Man because
Cool.
There
Nice.
are some
Awesome.
there are some crazy Pac-Man versions that are official, and the way that my Donkey Kong video has come out, Pac-Man's going to be great. I'm going to be working on that. Then I'm going to I'll tell you what it has done for me. It has opened my eyes to take closer looks at a couple of computers and stuff that I've never really paid attention to, which is
Nice.
the ZX Spectrum
Can't wait to get into that.
and the Amstrad CPC,
Nice.
which was a very capable. I mean, if the Donkey Kong port is anything to go by, a very capable gaming computer. So I should have that out this weekend. We're also, I think Peter, Chris, and I are going to try to play some more Elder Scrolls Online. We started that yesterday, and kind of fun if you're a MMO RPG player. I haven't been for a very long time, since EverQuest Online Adventures back on the PS2, but we're probably going to play some of that over the weekend, and then next week we're going to talk about all the stuff that happened on the Developer Direct today from Microsoft and
Very
stuff
cool.
coming. So that's what I got going on,
That is awesome. Well, I got
And Namco stuff.
and all the right, and the Namco stuff.
Really.
in full Namco all the time, right? From this point on. So Thursdays, I have another 3DO Thursdays where I play the game PO'd. And I was like, who could I con into getting on this show again? And it was Panda Sub 2000. So we ended up doing a play kind of. We did we tried out the game. We didn't do a playthrough. I'll tell you, it would have been hours. So the best of highlights. But that we're doing a premiere, so I will be in the chat. Maybe him. You never know. He's a very important and busy man. I never see him except when he comes on to 3DO Thursdays. But yeah. So Thursday, I believe 8:30 is what it's going to be on. So I hopefully that'll have that link or thumbnail up soon. I'm just trying to finish editing a lot of the stuff, but yeah, the 3DO Thursdays PO'd will be happening then. But also, if you haven't, I know we had some people do that last the following show. Please, a chat if you're listening. I know you're listening. Send
If there's anyone watching,
if you got some cool collections, a cool game room, or some cool rare game that you picked up. If you want to share it with you, and we'll show it live here on the show, please email me at djcgamestudios@gmail. Once again,
I meant to do my Jaguar there.
At Gmail. There you go. And but I want to just see all your pickups or stuff. I'd love to show weekly pickups and all the rarities or game rooms or your setup or your CRTs. Last week or week before, we had Retro Dude Carl Young. We had Original Next Level Gaming show us all their collections and their consoles. It was really cool. John Alvarado.
It was just me.
But yeah.
And Chuck, did we also want to kind of give a little heads up for some people about some input on the topic we wanted to talk about next week?
Yeah, next week I know that. Well, there was. I think you had something which I can't remember, so you may have to.
Yeah,
but I did have one of the ones. Let me find my banners here. I next week I did one of my topics was do game characters make the game? So chat, if
thank you, Chen.
Prepare, do your homework, and then come back next week to see us. But no, my whole thing is okay. Did Sonic need to be Sonic the Hedgehog? Could he have been? Could he be Bob the Builder? You know what I'm saying? Did the character really make the game? If the full Sonic game was made, just as an example, would it matter that it was did it matter it was a blue hedgehog? Did that really make the game? Did Super Mario Brothers, one of the best platformers ever made, well, did it matter that Mario was the character? Would it have been just as popular if it was a rabbit, if it was a toad? So do characters make the game? That was one of my topics for next week. And please explain what your one is, because I forgot already.
I think we also had wanted to discuss whether or not there was an intellectual property, an IP that you felt either got a pretty poor port, a pretty poor game made out of it, and you didn't think it was let's say, I'm just pulling a straw out of a hat here. Like the Neverending Story had a game made for the Commodore 64. Okay, very few people actually played and bought that game, so very few people actually and that came out years after the fact. So what is a title, a license that you would have loved to see get the full game treatment made, that it didn't get it made, or it got game treatment and the game just didn't really, it deserved a better game? And what is it about that game you'd love to see? What is it about that title you'd love to play?
Loosely.
Hey, Loosely Collected.
So
what's going on, dude? Thanks for
think about stuff you love and you'd love to see it as a game, and we can chat about that next week.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so we got 2 great topics. I believe Nick will have Nick back. If Nick isn't here, we'll try to get we might get some other guest stars on. It's cool to bring people on, that have been in this community, and sometimes we lose touch here and there, but we're still watching, we're still supportive, and like I said, there's zero Amico news right now, and until there is, that's when we'll bring it up. But like I said from the beginning of this, it's an Ultimate Gaming live stream. Yeah, the name is Amico Forever, and when that happens, it happens. But while we're in limbo, I literally love talking retro gamings with everyone. Retro gamings, like the kids say. But and I'm so excited. Like Creep, we're going to talk more, like even through DM. Just talking.
No problem, dude.
Because I'll have to show you. Because I'm hoping to hit a couple more stores by next week and kind of just get some more stuff. And I'm really into collecting 3DO now. But now, of course, right when I'm like, I'm going to do that again, it's just everything just skyrocketed on that too. So go figure. But
rad, man.
Once again, the email is djcgamestudios.
I'm sorry we talked about the TI-99 people who were looking to get into that.
And I'm going to have a TRS 80 video with my buddy that has that
computer.
They have brand new ones.
Tombstone City.
And oh man,
there you go.
Yes, Creeper.
You know what else?
Tell me you have Tombstone City.
I don't.
Hunt the Wumpus.
I honestly only have like
9
games for the system. I can't find them locally.
What else do you have? Just real quick. I'm sorry. I don't need to derail.
Good to see you, man.
Derail us. What else do you have?
No, I want to hear this. That's what I'm saying.
TI Invaders.
Yup, love that one.
Oh my God, Alpine.
Munchman I played that at my neighbor's every time I'd run next door when he got that.
A shooter. What is it called?
Solaris or
Parsec?
Yes, Parsec.
Parsec was the one that that you could plug into the voice module and get voice out of.
It would make fun of you. Yeah.
Did it have the speak and spell like the robot voice or whatever?
Kinda.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I actually like it better on Alpine. The voice on that one. But I also have Demon Attack too for it.
Yep.
Well, anyways, thanks, guys. We'll see you. Please send in some pictures, send in some rarities. We have some good topics for next week. Thank you, Atari Creep, for hanging out. Like
thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us,
man. Like I wish we could go longer, but we were an hour and a half in, But thank you so much. And Next Level Gaming, thanks for popping on. It was good to see you. And we will see you next week because it's a show and it's forever. I can't end it. It's forever. See you later.
Brad, thanks for coming in. I got the goods on